All right, welcome everybody. How you guys doing? You excited? Yes, it says green on. Oh yeah, it's recording, not amplified. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, all right. We got two new people. We can give that table to them if you want to put that table over here. Yeah. Um. So welcome to the first nutrition seminar of 2026. This is exciting. We've been doing these. Yeah, we've been doing these for a couple years now. We're always more smaller, right? It's more intimate. People, you have to take your Saturdays off for this. Well, an hour or two. So we appreciate you doing that. It says a lot about you guys that you guys are really focused and dedicated to not just the workouts. You guys are doing great. All you guys, I'm looking at everyone here and I see you all the time. And I check on the software too that you guys are making your sessions. So I can see that. But this stuff is really important. Tying the nutrition part. You guys are showing dedication coming on a Saturday, and I just want to recognize you guys for that. And I want to applaud you guys. So thank you guys. So like everything, we threw a big invite out, and we got 30 people registered RSVP, but you know how it is, right? So we're gonna go ahead and start this now. Really exciting. So with the way these work is, I'm gonna shut up in a little bit and let the trainers talk, and they're gonna just talk about nutrition and how kind of as a trainer we view nutrition, right? There's so much information out there. You can go down a rabbit hole, get on Google, go down a rabbit hole for hours. You can also do AI, right? And ask Gemini or Copilot or ChatGPT about this stuff. But I think what lacks with most people is the accountability, right? Someone telling you, yeah, that's true, but maybe not that. Maybe that's not what you need. You need to go down this route, right? And for example, do you guys remember maybe about 5, 6 years ago, a real famous diet came out called keto? Remember that? Some people did really well on it. Some people did not. So what could work for one person is not going to work for the other person. And they could be siblings. So I did keto and it worked really well for me. My sister tried it. She got kidney stones. I don't know if it's from keto, but it's kind of coincidence that she got it right when she was doing it within 3 weeks. So it's not really, these diets, they're not a way of life that you want to do for like a quick, bless you, for a quick sec. You want to find out where you're at, what your goals are. It's really important to get clarity on what you want. So saying I want to lose weight is not really clarity, right? It's just a thing we say. But say, hey, I want to lose 8 pounds of body fat and I want to gain 10 pounds of muscle. There's clarity right there, right? And so if you can do that, we can help you engineer that, reverse engineer it, and help you with that. If you want to gain more muscle, then we got to have more protein in our nutrition, right? If we want to lose body fat, we still got to eat carbs, but we just got to make sure they're portioned right, not overeat them, because you need carbs to build muscle, right? So there's a lot of misconceptions out there. Now, if you want to lose body fat really quick, keto would work. Atkins would work, and we have a fat blast program that does that. It's severe. It's pretty advanced. I wouldn't recommend a newbie doing it, but if you're ready to do this, I can help you with this, and I'll talk about it at the end of the nutrition seminar. If anyone wants to do the fat blast, it's a 6 to 12 week program that I'll guide you on personally, because I'm going to do it myself, and I'm going through my 10th time doing it. I've been doing it for years. This is how trainers kind of cut when we want to get ready for summer. We bulk up in the fall, in the winter. We eat whatever we want to enjoy it, and then we cut real quick. That's how athletes kind of do it too, and trainers know how to do it. So I will guide a program, and anyone that wants to do it with me. Okay, so I'll be quiet now and let the trainers that are more informed about nutrition talk. So are you coming first? Drew's coming first. So welcome, Andrew, our newest trainer. Here you go, sir. How's it going, Tony? All right, everybody. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. We go over a lot of kind of nutrition, or um, a little bit of kind of the food portion. So we might cover a few different things today. Mine is going to be about how you can increase
the intensity on your exercises and your workouts so that you get the most out of them. Okay, but we want to focus on doing that in the safest way possible. So that is not going to be the weights, which is what primarily people think it is. So most injuries aren't coming from our exercises. The injuries are going to come from all the reps that we continue to do after the form breaks down. Once our body's no longer in the perfect optimal position. Okay, so up here I put the visual technique over weight. Okay, so it's the reason why we give so many pointers and give you guys advice on little pieces that you can fix up on your movements. Okay, by the end of today, you're gonna learn 5 techniques or 5 ways that you can apply to your workouts to make them more intense, and they're not going to include adding more weight. Okay, so this is going to be to continue to get stronger while still protecting your joints. Okay, so whether we're in the 20 age group, the 40s age group, or we're in the 60s and up age group, we have one goal together, and it's progress without getting hurt. Okay, Felix, let me up here. Thank you, thank you. So the problem, okay, not trying to shame anybody, right? It's no one's personal fault. You're not a bad person or a weak person. What happens is compensation. The body is searching for a default, easier way to perform the workout or the movement that we're doing. And so we need to fix that, okay? Um, Intensity, a lot of times people think, is the same thing as load or weight. It's not the same thing. Intensity, I wrote a definition for you guys. How hard the target tissues are going to work while the body stays organized. So, in the proper form, staying in the right position. That's what intensity is. It doesn't equate to adding more weight equals more intensity. That just means you're adding more weight. Okay? So if technique breaks, that means that the set is over or it's time to kind of take a break and regroup on that movement. Okay? We're going to learn how to make it harder on purpose, not riskier through the weight. All right, good. So I have three parts for the movement that you guys can learn. That's going to be the concentric, the eccentric, and the isometric portions of the movement. Okay, all of those are going to be included within the lift. For example, if we're talking about a squat here, the the eccentric is going to be the part where you control the movement. So as I lower with the weight, right, and I'm slowing the weight down, that's considered eccentric. It's also the point where if we're targeting, say, the quad, that's what we're paying attention to, my muscle is lengthening. So at that point, while I'm going down, my quad is lengthening and I'm slowing the weight down. That's it. That's what eccentric is. Concentric is going to be your moving force. Um, that is going to happen when the muscle is shortening. So on the way back up, right, our muscle's fully extended. We come up and it shortens and it contracts. Okay, so that's that movement when you can visually see where the movement is going. And then isometric is the one with no visible movement. So you can kind of characterize an isometric point in a movement by high intensity, no visual change in space or movement. The example could be the bottom of the squat. When you hit the bottom of the squat, that's probably the most intense point where you need to produce the most force to come out of the bottom. But in that moment, when you're in the bottom, there's no change of your hip there in space. You just hit the bottom and then you leave that position. Can we get the following one? So own it, isometric. So if you were to stop at the bottom of a squat, that would be owning the movement, having a stop there, not changing in space. So the 5 techniques that you guys can learn today from easiest to hardest. Number one is going to be cluster sets, or something that everyone can do is just as simple as taking a break, right? So if I have a set of, let's say, 10 or 12, I don't have to do 10 or 12 like that in a row. Maybe the weight is too heavy, right? And my muscles aren't going to make it through 10. So what I can do is I can go 3, rest for 30 seconds, not 30 seconds, like 10 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds, then do another 3, rest another few seconds, and then do like another 3, another 4 at the end, right? To finish up the whole set. That way, your muscles get a little bit of time to rest in between, and you don't have to drop the weight, right? Whereas normally, if you wanted to keep your form, you would have to lower the weight. In this sense, you just take a break in between, and then that doesn't have to happen. So isometric pause, what I just covered, is exactly what it said before, owning a position. The bottom of a squat, you can pause there for 1 to 2 seconds, right? That's really going to increase the intensity on your exercise because you have to stop all the momentum and produce force again, probably a greater force to continue the movement. Okay? And then tempo, a little more advanced because it can include isometrics, right? You guys may have gone over us telling you controlled on the way down, or 3 seconds on the way down, maybe 4 seconds on the way down. That can be characterized as like 3, 1, 2. They'll throw out random numbers, and it just means how many seconds you count on the way down, how many seconds of a pause you have, how many seconds on the concentric part of the movement. So all of that is kind of how you would read a tempo. Again, a little more advanced. Number 4 is going to be speed work. Once you get to like 3, 4, and 5, that's just going to be the things that we program for you guys, not really that you're doing on your own. We're specifically letting you know that that's what you need to do. For speed, we're going way, way, way low on the weight, bringing it all the way down, and we're locking in our form and focusing on trying to move as quickly as we can through whatever movement it is. Let's say a bench press. We'd lower the weight a lot, and we'd practice on, if it's 3 reps, we'd do 3 reps as fast as we could, full range. Okay, that'll be speed work. And then final one would be stability or instability training. So using something like a soft surface, right, that's going to move around, or more of like a foam surface. We have our Bozu balls, the domes that are kind of create that stability where it's going to move, it's going to return kind of force into you, and you have to handle that extra force. So that's the 5th final way that you can increase the intensity without having to bump up the weight on your workouts. And so for the quarter rules that I think everybody should be focused on from now in the next 2 months, it should be earning the load, right? We're not moving up weight just cause or just because we want to. We need to remain in full control, have our body recover after each set, making sure we're not hitting failure, cramping up. All of those things are indicators that it's not fully earned, right? Your body isn't fully recovered, right? And so you're still not at that ability. Technique first, increasing the weight absolutely last once we go through all of those techniques that we could possibly use. Clean reps only. It's a good idea to leave, 1 rep in the tank, as they say, still having the ability to maybe do 1 more if you wanted to at the end of the set. So that's a good way to kind of gauge. And more so, what is it called? Like upkeep, keeping your body in good condition, and making sure we don't push too far where there could possibly be like an injury or some kind of weakness exposed. Okay, and then the no pain. We're trying to modify early. Okay, there are specific cases where maybe a muscle's tight and it takes a couple of sets or reps for it to warm up. But we should be able to guide you through that and explain to you that like you should start to feel a difference now. You should feel less pain now. We're at about the point where like the pain should be mostly gone. If we're not agreeing, if you're saying something different, we probably need an adjustment. We need to change the form. We need to pay attention to a weakness or injury that you may have, or just give you a different version of the movement. So that communication needs to happen a lot quicker now. Okay, so no pain through the rest of this quarter, right? Let's modify early so that we can keep training every single time we need to come in here. All right, y'all. And then here at the end, I have just a quote for you guys. It says, "Your body doesn't reward bravery; it rewards precision repeated." All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Any questions for Andrew?
Yeah, Andrew, you do a Q&A.
Any questions about what he talked about? No?
I have a question. Do you put
Yeah.
all those 5 techniques in our workout? I don't ask for speed work. Do you have to call that out?
Like I said, that one would be something that we would program at a specific point, right? Yeah. The for the lifts, right? We would explain to you like, hey, whatever you normally use for this kind of lift, we're going to use way less, right? We're going to use a way smaller load because first of all, you need to be able to just maintain the form and control the speed. So that one, it's not something you're doing, I guess, on your own to make it difficult. Yeah. So the other ones are.
I don't want to look on the board. I don't even want to know what's up. I just like that it come in.
We will add these. We will add these in for sure. For sure, the one you can remember could be number one, the cluster sets, right? Whereas just that one you can be in control of like if a set or an exercise is intense, break it down into pieces, and by adding the short breaks, you essentially finish the same. You finish a heavier weight within close to the same amount of time because you added those rests in. And then the most important part is you kept your form.
Yeah. In general, on the list, is it usually good to like pause between the up and down? Usually it's good to most lifting, or is it just specific?
It's not necessary. It will increase your time under tension, right? That's like another kind of definition or like a word that's used in this field.
So it's better usually.
And it'll make your workout more intense, right? So your weights will be lower, your fatigue will be up, right? It might change your ability in terms of what you can normally perform, but it would increase the intensity of the workout. You're stopping the momentum, and if you're spending 1 to 2 seconds, say at the bottom of a bench or the bottom of a squat, the total seconds at the end of the workout, like you're gonna have more seconds underneath the weight, which is what I said. That's like another term, a biological kind of term of like how we grow is time under tension. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Contrary to speed work, tempo mentioned that 2, 3, 4 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a good practice to do for most of the
Yeah. That's a good one that you can keep. And you don't have to force, say, a pause at the bottom of that one. Tempo is just good with the eccentric, the lowering portion, and then the up portion as well. Most of the time, it's fine. It's fine to just explode out of your lift, right? To complete your lift, unless we specifically tell you come up slowly and count like 2 or 3 seconds or something, pushing the weight back up. But again, that increases the demands a lot. So because now you have to be in control of how slowly you're raising a weight back up, right? Good. Cool. All right, all good. Thank you. Thanks, no problem. Oh,
Do I get do I get MC'd or do I just walk up here?
You are MC.
I'm serious, bro. All right, it's whatever, I guess. Y'all know me. Okay. So today I'm gonna be talking about breathing techniques. Do you guys remember when you first started and you were super out of breath and you were dizzy? You had to sit down. You got to contemplate your life choice, and you're like, "Damn, I can't breathe." Sometimes it still happens, especially with cardio and stuff. breathing isn't something automatic in weightlifting. It's another thing that you need to think about, like how you grip a barbell. You got to make sure your hand placement's right. You got to think about where your feet are in certain lifts, most of them. Same thing with breathing. You need to think about the way you inhale, hold it, and exhale. That can increase your power and your strength when you lift. The goal of this is to learn how to stabilize your spine and your core to increase the force output, mainly just using oxygen. So think of it as like a soda can. If a soda can's empty, it's easier to crush, right? But if it's pressurized, it has oxygen inside of it and it's closed, it's harder to crush because it's nice and tight. The way you breathe is with your diaphragm. Normally, we'll take deep breaths and try to tighten our core and just fill up our chest. You're supposed to do the opposite. You have to try to fill up your stomach, and it's going to feel kind of weird. You take a deep breath, and you expand. That way you take the most amount of oxygen possible. Stability equals strength. The stable spine allows your muscles to exert more power on the weight instead of just trying to rely on your spine to do the lift. Have you guys ever felt like you're doing a back squat or an RDL and you're hyperventilating and your back's kind of hurting, lower back? It's because we're not bracing the core and you're just letting your spine do all the work. So this can help decrease that load off your back, help use the other muscles. So the way I'm going to demonstrate so we can all learn how to do this is, let's say, a shoulder press, okay? So you take a deep breath. You're right here. You brace your core. You open your chest. You fill your stomach up. Take a deep breath out. When you're pushing out, you hold it. You take a deep breath in. Reset. The reason why you're breathing out when you're pushing, because now you're forcing your core tight. You're pushing all your air out. Have you ever heard us do that sound when we're lifting? It's going to feel a little funny, but you can try it. No judging. Another way to help stabilize your core is when you're breathing out, you purse your lips and you make a little hole with your lips and you make that little sound like you're whistling. That way you stabilize your core more and you let it pressurize just a little bit. And you just blow it all out. That defeats the purpose of the deep breath. Common mistakes that we do when we're breathing is, especially even if we're newer or if we're working out for a long time, we all make these mistakes, especially when we get tired. Holding your breath for too long can lead to blacking out, fainting, or feeling like lightheaded. You guys, again, remember when you were first starting, we had to have you sit down or lay down, like you're feeling lightheaded, and it's most likely because you're holding your breath during the workout. That can increase your blood pressure while lifting heavy and light weights, which can cause you to pass out. Another common misconception or mistake that we do is we try to suck in our stomachs and just breathe in through the top of our chest. I want you guys to breathe, just trying to suck in your stomach and only using this. Notice how much less air you take in instead of you're breathing with your whole chest. Now you've increased all that oxygen. Your muscles use the oxygen as fuel. So breathing in less can reduce your strength in a way. You'll feel more fatigued, you'll feel tired, you might feel a little panicked if you're lightheaded or if you're hyperventilating. Hyperventilating causes your amygdala to part in your brain. It activates your fight or flight response, which is why you might feel like you're suffocating or like you can't catch your breath. So what I like to do when I'm out of breath or when I need to make sure I'm going to tighten my core, I take 3 deep breaths, hold it at the top for 3 seconds, and try to extend the way I blow out for as long as I can. You guys do that with me real quick? Okay. Let's see who can, however you want. Let's see who can take the most amount of air. Okay. Remember, you're gonna expand your stomach. Do we got enough? Okay. Okay. 3, 2, 1. You feel your stomach tightening? Well, he's still going. Oh, and he's still going too. So the way you feel when you're breathing out, I'm pretty sure you guys could feel your stomach contracting and their muscles tightening. That's the feeling you need to keep when you're lifting. That way you don't injure your back or your hips, you tweak yourself. It's a really great way to prevent injuries. So the summary is that breathing can create an inner shield for your muscles. And what I want you to try is bracing your core when you're breathing out like someone's going to tickle you or punch you. It's kind of weird to think about, but it works. And practice this with lighter weights so you feel like you've got the technique down. Any questions?
For breathing in, is it like
I like to feel until my stomach expands. Like you can feel when your lungs are full. It's better instead of just trying to take a quick, that could also be bad because now you're taking too much and you've just shocked your body. Take a nice slow, fill up your lungs. Make sure you're calm. You don't want to panic yourself. Any other questions? Okay, Elia. Wait, Elia.
It's not a question.
Huh?
It's not a question, just a reminder. Can you remind us to breathe?
Yes.
Okay. All trainers.
Yes. I feel like you say breathe and you're like, what does that mean? Yeah. Now you know what it means. You're like, breathe. And you're like, all right. Good? All right. Get hands. Oh, introducing chocolate.
We forget. That's like my 10th nickname in here, all right? Like, ding. Hey, Bob. Don't you there? Don't you there? I get called. On the base. Like, dang. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. All right. Round of applause for our 2 presenters earlier. They did a really great job. Yeah. They both done it twice. I think this is like I can't count that high, but I mean 5 time probably. So, without further ado, so my presentation is going to be on fat loss. More specifically, fat loss, not weight loss. There's a huge difference there. So, just the science behind like what they are, what happens, how, when, and why. Fat loss happens in the body, right? So that's everyone's goal here, right? A lot of us want to lose fat, right? It's stubborn, it's doesn't look visually pleasing, and all that, right? So other than just aesthetics, we also have to look at, hey, like how much fat is too much fat, right? So just put some key points here that I dug in. So there's 2 different kinds of. So there is essential fat. We all need fat, right? Like to survive. We're built to for survival. So we have the essential fat that helps us regulate our hormones and organs, protect us right from like extreme weathers. And also we have 2 different kinds of fat, right? So the I cannot pronounce that. Wow, subcutaneous. Thank you. Visceral and visceral fat. So the subcutaneous is the one that's like right underneath the skin, which is the on this part right here. So I'm touching. Yeah, right. No one does. No one does. Not even me, sister. Not even me. So yeah, and then the visceral is the one that's in the organs, like all deep inside the cavity, like the abdomens. So that's where the bad. That's kind of where like the bad fat is. There is too much of that can be costly for your health. So I put out some numbers here. So for males and females, for males, unhealthy average or range would be between like 15 to 25% body fat, which is the like the normal, right? Anything below that you're still considered like healthy, very fit, and that's where a lot of like the abs come in, right? Like the 6 pack, the 8 packs, etc. And I put here so the visceral adipose tissue, the VAT, is generally in that deep cavity. So that's where men carry a lot of the fat, right? That explains like the beer bellies. So yeah, so like the guts. And then the females, the healthy range would be about 20 to 30% body fat, and that's going to be the subcutaneous adipose tissue, the SAT, which is usually, and a lot of females carry it around the hips, right? Main reason why is because the hormones, so the estrogen, they tend so the females tend to carry it a lot more in the like the hips area to get prepared for like pregnancy and like lactation and everything. So and then for men, the testosterone, right? So we store more fat up here in the upper body and the abdomen region. So a lot of times, like a lot of men who like are overweight, they tend to get like they're more top heavy, right? Or they look more top heavy. So the key point is that like not all fat is bad. The only fat is not the enemy, and balances. So you want to have a good, healthy amount, like a range, because you don't want too much. You also want too little, right? So how do we gain fat? Like, how do we lose fat? I mean, we all know how to gain fat, or like, So I mean, I'm not gonna go into that much detail. So that's self-explanatory right there. It's all the burgers and everything. So, but how do we lose fat? Right, that's the key. That's the key point. So, um, fat loss can happen. So, and all in all, the big picture is a calorie deficit. You probably heard that term so many times. We talk about it. Social media, TikTok, Instagram. I don't know if anyone uses Snapchat anymore, but whatever. What is a calorie deficit, right? So, a calorie deficit is whatever your maintenance calorie is for the day, and you have to go below that in order for you to lose body fat, right? Calories in, calories out. So, and the big thing too is that there's so many diets out there that you think that, oh, like like Atkins or like the paleo or whatever can lose. They think that solely was what helping them lose fat, and it does help. But think about the diets more as like a guide, right? Not all diets are going to be the same. Like Joaquin said earlier, keto isn't for everyone. You look for something that's going to help you be like a guideline to be in that calorie deficit. Think about it like that, and then just don't worry about like, oh, like paleo is bad for you, or all that. Not all diets are bad. You just got to find what works best for you. So yeah, so your calories, let's say, are 2,000, right? As an example, you want to go at least 300 to 500 calories below your maintenance, and your maintenance is whatever you burn on the daily. So everyone's burning calories even right now, just by breathing, your heart's beating. You walk, you stand up, you're burning a calorie or two, right? You sit down, etc. So so yeah, so there's an equation that you can find out for your BMR and your AMR. Your BMR is your basal metabolic rate, and your AMR is your active metabolic rate. We're all gonna base it off of the AMR because we're active. We're actively working out. We're coming in 2 to 4 times a week here, and then other stuff you're doing outside, like biking or hiking, that counts too towards that. So I can't even pronounce his name. Mifflin St. Jake, whatever, Jor, right? There's 2 different equations for different genders, right? So for men, you plug in whatever your weight is in kilograms. We don't sucks that we don't know the metric that well. So, but kilograms, centimeters, and your age, right? So you plug in those in, you get your BMR, right? This is just for your BMR, and then for your AMR, there is a number you have to plug in. You can take a photo of this, and then it is a lot of math, but once you do, you get that's how you get your maintenance calories. Okay, thank you. So these are my numbers. So I put in that, was it 84.35, 170.18 centimeters tall. that is my maintenance calories for the day. 1,700. Lucky seven. Wow. So, yeah. So then that's what my maintenance BMR without doing any activity, without doing any sort of exercise. Now I plug in. You take that number, you multiply it by this any of these ones that fit you, right? So sedentary to little to no, right? 1.2. The more active you are, the more you multiply that number, right? So my AMR would be 2,754 because I am doing moderately to very hard times like exercises per week, right? So you base it off of your AMR instead of your BMR to lose your body fat, because what's happening is that what your AMR is telling you is that you're being active. You're actively using your muscles to like burn, because muscle burns more fat or more calories than body fat. So yeah. So all in all, like just to kind of sum it up for the science people out there, where does all that body fat go, right? Where does it transport, right? So most of it, for every 10 pounds, right? They say that the carbon, so it kind of expels out of your lungs, right? To like when you're breathing normally, right? When you're losing weight, as well as water, right? So some of it does like excess out. So it just kind of like it like a byproduct, right? Like so it wastes out, gets out of your system that way. So it kind of goes up into the air. It doesn't kind of like just magically disappear, right? Either that or your muscles use it for like fuel, or it can kind of convert to fat to muscle, but all in all, it just expels out of you, like the steam and everything. So, okay. More science stuff, right? So triglycerides, oxidation, and expulsion. I don't know why that one's blank, but yeah. But they all just kind of all in all, just exit out of your system that way. Transports fat cells into fatty cells and cholesterol oxidation. These molecules into the bloodstream and travel to the mitochondria in your muscles and other organs. So they use it for fuel, essentially. All in all, that's how the fat will get used up. And yeah, into shipping. Put all the science right there. All right. And that's about it. That's the end of my presentation. Have any comments, questions? Kevin.
Go back to the two target numbers again.
Target numbers. That one?
Yeah, so if you want to lose weight, the one after it. Yeah.
That one.
So you use the higher one and subtract 2 to 300, or use the lower one and subtract?
You use the higher one. Yeah. So like
700 for you.
For me, yeah.
You don't take 2 or 300 from the 7.
I mean, you can if. So that's even more extreme. Yeah. So the goal is the higher one. Yeah, because if you're actively, you need to fuel up your muscles or your body regardless. The BMR is just what you. The BMR is just where you are right now, like without any activity, without. Huh? Yeah, like you're like in bed, which makes it more accurate. Yeah. So because we're all working now, right? So at least 2 times. So then you would plug in, you would take whatever your BMR is, multiply that by 1.375, you get that number. So yeah. So and then also so then you add more activity, the more calories you're gonna need to like fuel. So.
You gotta consider too. Go back to that one. Oh, we can help you with this too.
Yeah.
If you want to find out your number, we will work on this with you one-on-one anytime. You text me, text the number and say Joaquin, or any of us can help you with that. And I'll meet you here for a 15-minute consult.
Jason!
We'll go over the number that's yours. So you want to take that higher number because he's active, right? So because he's active, he has to fuel his body more, right? Hopefully with good food, right? More protein, more vegetables, and hopefully a carb of some kind. That's a good, healthy carb, right? So if you want to stay where you're at, he would just have to eat that 2,754.544 every day to stay. Now, our goal is to lose body fat, right? So he needs to go below that. Now, the range he said was 100 to 500 calories below
3
that.
to 5.
That doesn't mean you want to jump to 500 right away. I know we're getting patient and we want the fastest results, but your body will actually sabotage itself if you do that. That's fight or flight mode again, right? What Drew said. You want to start off with 100 below that. If you're new to this, start off with 100 below that, and then every week you can drop off 100 calories and gradually get to 500. So do it slowly. So if you want help with this, we can help you get that math done for you. If you go to one of those apps like MyFitnessPal, Lose It, what's another one? There's a lot out there, right? They will do that for you in the app. You won't know how to do the equation. You just put in your height, your age, your gender, your goals, and then we'll spit out the calculation for you. But you'll never know how to do it. So either one. If you want to do it that way, you can. If you want us to write the equation, you need to see it, that's okay. We will guide you through that. Any more questions for Felix?
It's like for me. Yes.
So do you have?
How do you do?
You did good.
Yeah? He's doing really good.
Doing better.
You should have seen the first time we did this a couple of years ago. I think he was like talking to the wall.
I was like, my legs are crossed.
How did they do? They do good?
Yeah.
Yeah? Good. Any questions about this whole thing? This was really cool. I like that you guys were interactive and asking questions. I think what we're going to do is, because of Drew's talk, we're going to name this like the Mastermind, not just nutrition, but he gave you a lot of the science and theory behind the weightlifting. And so did Maggie with the breath, and then Felix with the nutrition. Yeah, so no, that's a great question. Breathing is vital to working out. We just don't think about it, right? When you add those little things to your routine and workouts, it makes a huge difference. And as trainers, we know this. I'll answer you right now. As trainers, we know this. We just forget that you don't know this. We forget that you can't read our minds, and you know that's the I guess the profession of the trainer, to be able to relay that information to you at all times, and we trying our best. So
But now we know. So we can
So-
tweak it.
yeah. So now you know we're all on the same boat, and that's what the point of these masterminds is, to get on the same boat, so you can understand without all the deep diving and the confusion that's out there. Run it through us, and we'll help you, because I've been doing this for 16 years. We're 12 years here at Elite on Tuesday. We're gonna celebrate. Yeah, it's really cool. Thank you guys. You guys are the reason why we're here, and it's been a beautiful ride, and I hope to be here another 12 years. Elizabeth, who's kind of new. Does everybody know Elizabeth? Uh-huh. Use
So
this.
is that something that
Can you repeat that again?
So-
Louder?
for me, I'm new to exercising. This is like what my first month in here, and my question is that something that we can incorporate in our training sessions, like for like the warm ups, similar to the warm ups? Can we train like something that can teach us how to better breathe during our sessions? Just because for me, keeping that form and then practicing that breathing is very difficult. And so I often find myself like huffing and puffing pretty much through the whole workout. And I notice that it's easier for me to lose that form, lose that technique. And that would be really nice if we were to be able to incorporate that throughout our
Throughout the
sessions.
workouts?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great question, and I'll tell you, if anyone has any questions, give it to them. Keep it off right now and then turn it on if they have questions. That's a really good question. And I think what you're saying is, how do we do that naturally? Right? That's hard. I'm going to tell you straight up. It's hard. It took me a while. The way I figured this out was actually, I'm a saxophone player. I don't know if you guys know that. And I was breathing wrong into my saxophone for years. We tend to breathe in like, right? We squeeze this, breathe. A voice teacher that taught voice at OCC told me, you're doing it wrong. Expand, get fat, he said, and then blow into your horn. And then when I became a trainer, I realized that they're the same breath, they're the same function. So we have to breathe out to fill up our air tank. Yes. Think of his fat cheeks. Remember him, the trumpet player? Think that's your air tank. So you want to expand. This is gonna look funny. But I've been doing this so long, I can get that out there, no problem. And then you gradually squeeze that balloon And your aperture, your mouth is that little part of the balloon that comes out, and you can squeeze it. One breath in through your nose, you can last. Felix is actually the winner. We do the little contest, us four, on breathing. We see who can breathe the longest. He's almost to a minute. In my day, I could do a minute. I can't do that no more. My leg. Yes, I can hold a note.
Back in my day.
Where I'm going with this, to answer your question, is you're not gonna be perfect right away. This might take. It took me like 6 months to rewire my brain to breathe the correct. It took a while because how old was I? I was like 29 when I figured this out, and I've been playing the sax since I was 10. 19 years, I was doing it all wrong, right? So it took me about a good 6 months, but I was practicing that technique every day when I practiced the horn. I was practicing 4 hours a day. So it took me a while. So it might take you 4 months, it might take you 6, it might take you a year. But now you're cognizant of it, right? Let's practice it together when you work out. And you don't really need to worry about it too much during the warm-up. I think it's more beneficial during the lifts, like Maggie was saying. So if you go down on a squat, you want to start the breath in before you do the workout, the exercise. Right? Or you can hold the breath for 2. If it's lightweight, you can take one breath for like 5 reps. But if it's heavyweight, use one breath for 1 rep, because that breath can help you get back up. So the more we practice it, the better you'll get, and it'll be second nature to you eventually. Yeah, and then you won't need us to be telling you. Yeah, but that was a great question. It does take time. It's just another thing to train your brain to do, your body to do, right? But your body loves patterns. It will happen, you know. Yes.
You would say,
Oh, you got it.
as we're getting the guidance,
Mm-hmm.
as we're getting the guidance on this, is it okay to practice also at home? Because I think I could see myself doing that at home. That way, when it comes here, then obviously with weights added.
Yeah,
So
I
you
would
would
practice that at
recommend
home.
that?
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
do recommend that. If you're at home and watching TV,
Yeah.
get on the floor and do a plank.
Okay.
Again, an isometric exercise that Andrew touched on.
Mhm.
It's you're not moving, you're holding, so it's an isometric, right? I would practice that and practice the breathing and see how long you can.
When you're doing an isometric, you're not moving.
You're not moving.
So the breath is just a hold and a release and a hold and a release.
Yeah, so if I can give an example, I'm gonna pretend I'm like horizontal, right? I'm gonna take a breath before I bring my knees up, before I get in the plank. So my knees are on the ground, no work is there yet. I would take the breath now, and then slowly breathe out as I'm doing it. And halfway through, I might need another breath. And I would hold this while I'm taking that other breath. Now that just required so much more.
So you're really holding it for 30 seconds, a minute and a half, 2 minutes. If you can hold it 2 minutes.
You want to hold the plank for about a minute. You don't need to go over that.
You don't?
Nah.
Oh.
If you want to go over that,
I'm
you
not that
can. But I think you're gonna get bored after a minute. There's no need. What I would do is make that plank harder.
How do you make a plank harder?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways. The main, yeah, I love this. You got me excited. Yes, I can give you an example. Maggie, pass me that ball you're sitting on.
Oh.
One way that you can change up any exercise and make any exercise easier or harder is basis support. That means what you're standing on, sitting on, or laying on. Right? So if I want to make my plank, if I get to a minute, this is easy. I want to make it harder, I would do this plank this way. So now that's just harder.
Because you're using your core more.
Yeah, there's unstable. My arms are on an unstable surface. Yeah. Or I could put my feet on this and do a plank with my feet. Now that's even more. Or I could put my feet on the ball and my arms on the ball, and that's even more unstable, right? So the more unstable, the more challenging it would get. And then getting to 10 seconds like that would be challenging. Yeah. And then 20. So I wouldn't go more than a minute. If you do a minute, you're pretty strong in the core already. Challenge it with basis support. Yeah. Angle of direction is another way.
Side plank?
Side plank would be a great one. Yeah. 45 seconds on the side plank. You're using less muscle. Where the core, you're using the whole
And then I've
band.
seen some people lift a leg. When
You can lift one leg, right? Changing the basis
or
support.
maybe throwing an arm out.
Throwing an arm out,
Yeah.
changing the basis support. Yeah. Put a plate on your back. Be careful with that where you place it. Place it on the butt, not the lower back.
Oh, I'll never do that.
Yeah, you could. People do that too, but that's a great question. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Any more questions on nutrition, or fitness, or breathing, or anything, or about elite? Any questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
What do you recommend to eat prior to a workout besides a pre-workout? But oh, sorry. Okay, I'll repeat.
Yeah. Can you repeat it?
Yes. What do you recommend to eat prior to a workout? My session is in an hour, and I need to have a quick snack. What would be?
So it's under an hour.
Yeah.
Okay. I wouldn't eat heavy. I wouldn't eat anything complex, right? Probably a piece of fruit, maybe a protein bar, half of it. Don't give your body too much work to do before you come and work out. You might go into cramps. It's not a good idea. If you're gonna eat, make sure it's an hour before. 2 hours, 3 hours is better. Before, if you're talking about an hour and 2 3 hours before, have a protein. They have a good fat like almonds, seeds, nuts, and a good carb. The most important meal of your day is before and after your workout.
Before and after?
Before and after. If you want to make which one is a priority, I would say maybe after. But the workout, the meal before, 2 3 hours before, is really important too, because that's your fuel.
Yeah.
For the workout, right? So it kind of also depends. Here I'm gonna throw another modification. What kind of workout are we doing? Are we doing a cardio hour, or are we doing a weightlifting hour? Right? So if I'm doing a cardio, a steady state, like just say running on the treadmill, you don't need a carb so much. You might just need a fat, right? The carb is like a nitrous button in a car. You push that nitrous button and you're going fast. That's a carb. That's what a carb is. Right? The fat, though, from almond seeds. Where else do we get fat? Avocado, right. Salmon, fish. Those fats are great fats. I don't know why they call it fat. They have this bad connotation. It's good fat. That is for a prolonged energy source. Like if you're gonna just work all day, you're at the office working. You don't need that nitrous button. You want that fat. And then if your workout is a cardio, I would go with the fat. Now, if you're working with weights and you get a little intense, have a carb in there. So protein, vegetable, and carb. And every meal, regardless of the timing, should have a protein and a vegetable. Every meal. We have a recipe library, and we were really, really good at giving it to everybody as they signed up. But I've been lagging on that. So if you want our recipe library, it's 9 ebooks of recipes. There's a Mediterranean in there. There's a low fat. There's even a keto one because I made these 8 years ago. There's 9 of them, and we can send those to you. So if you want, just would everybody want those?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put you in a list, and I'll send that to everybody together. You'll get 9 ebooks, and it comes with the picture of the food, directions, and a grocery list, ingredients, and how they're really easy to do. Yeah, so I'll send those to everybody here. I can see who's here. That was a great question. If you work out at great question. I don't. If I work out at 5 a.m., I don't eat before. Because when you gonna eat? If you need to, you can have maybe a protein shake before you walk in the gym. That might be okay, or a banana. Something that will be processed really quick, not complex. So something that you can just drink and then work out, right? Because the night before, if you had a great meal, that's gonna be your fuel for the morning. And it's okay to work out in, I don't want to call it starvation mode, hunger mode. It's okay to work out in that. Not necessarily, because calories burnt are based on the exercise intensity and what you're doing, right? What was so great about that 5 a.m. thing and not eating before is if you're in a good state, if you're not in fight or flight mode, you're going to go into fat storage, right? Because your body's like, where do we get the energy to keep going? Usually by minute 15, 20, your body will flip the switch and say, where are we going to get the energy to keep going? I know, fat storage. And then you won't be hungry like towards the middle or end of the workout, right? So you don't have to. Some people do. but you can get used to not eating before 5 and be okay. I don't eat before 5. I used to work. I remember I did for like a year. I was training somebody at 5, and like for years I did that. But yeah, you could. It's not a bad idea. Having a little caffeine before a workout like that, it's water and caffeine, really, right? It's great. That'll be a great pre-workout. Yeah. Yeah, and you might get hunger before as you're walking into the workout, but give it like 15, 20 minutes, you won't feel hunger. You won't feel that appetite. Your body will convert stored fat and use that for fuel. Great question, Elia. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, so we're gonna go in our next phase. I want to introduce a client of ours, longtime client named Jason. He was here back in 2017. You started, and then disappeared for a little bit, but came back. And he does meal preps. So we hired him to do our meal preps for the day because meal prepping is such an important part about this, right? If you leave it up to like, hey, last minute I'm leaving the gym, now where do I go eat, right? What's the first thing we do? We're gonna look for the fastest and easiest. And what is that? Well, nowadays it's DoorDash. You can have Santos Pizza, yeah. Something not healthy. But if you get meal preps beforehand, you have that when you get home. And you just open it up, put it in the microwave or air fryer, however you want to do it, and you got a healthy meal right there. That's the way, really the way to do it. Now you have two options when it comes to meal prepping. You can do it all yourself for a whole week and spend all your Sunday doing it. It's cheaper that way. You just have to buy the ingredients, but you're doing the work. Or you can hire somebody to do it, keep your Sunday, but you have to pay for that, right? So it's a balance act. I do both. Sometimes I've done meal prep. Sometimes I do it myself. It's hard. But we got Jason, who's a chef, a celebrity chef down here in downtown Santa Ana. Everybody knows Jason. He's wonderful. He used to work at Chapter One, right? Where else have you worked out? Give him the mic.
So I went to Big Canyon, which is Newport Beach, and then now I'm in right off.
Great. And do you want to tell us about your meal preps? What you got going?
Yeah,
there?
so I'll come in the front.
Yeah, come on.
So as Joaquin was talking, the hardest part working out is make sure you're eating right. I don't eat right because I work in the kitchen, so there's always different food coming around. But when I can get down to it, I kind of created this logic called chunk. So it's abbreviation for creating habits under new knowledge. So how can you eat good meals? Not just grilled chicken, brown rice, and vegetables. Unless you're a bodybuilder and you train yourself to do that, and it's more repetitive, and you're just trying to force feed yourself to make sure your body's getting enough nutrients after the workout. Because sometimes it's like after your workout, you like to eat. I don't want to eat chicken breast and brown rice and vegetables because it's more mentally than anything. Like for me, I like to play golf. I just started golf. Golf is probably the hardest. It's not a sport. It's a game because it's not. I don't call it as a sport because you can drink 2 beers and 2 hot dogs and still finish a round. But it's all mental because one shot you miss can be a domino effect. And same thing with food. Like if you don't eat right, you're just wasting the workout that you have. So speaking of which, Joaquin talked about like how we cater to our clients on how they eat on the rest of the day. So let's say you do a workout and then you're on your feet all day and you're moving. So sometimes you kind of need a little bit of carbs in there to get you going through the day. And then if you do like a workout in the afternoon, you kind of need that button to get you through from working and then going to the gym. Because sometimes you get that fatigue feeling that you're tired. I don't want to work out. So you need some kind of carbs to get it in there. So when we do our meal prep, it's 6 ounces of protein, half a cup of starch, and then vegetables. So we don't do any sauces, and everything that we buy is, as organically as we can get it because we're trying to keep it in a low price point. Like we sell it at $10, $9 to $10, depending on what you get. So there's a fish option, seafood fish, chicken, and beef. So, yeah.
Great, thank you.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, meal preps, and we're gonna share that with you. We're gonna start doing this for our quarterly seminars. We're gonna do this kind of talk and give meals. I think it's a good touch. So yeah, that's pretty much it, right? We want to think about clarity about our goals. I don't want to just lose weight. All right, what does that mean? Weight is such a variable when it comes to checking it on the scale, right? You're weighing everything. But if you start thinking, I want to lose body fat, I want to gain muscle, the weight is not gonna come into play, and you won't get frustrated. Don't worry about the weight, right? We want to put on muscle, and we want to lose body fat. So having the right portion size is important, and everybody's body in here is different, so those portion sizes will change. So if you want a one-on-one with me, let me know. I'll meet with you here at Elite, either after your workout, before your workout, or on another day. I don't mind. I love doing this. We'll meet together. We'll go over your numbers that Felix had up there, and we'll talk about even meal preps and what that looks like for you guys. I am running another Fat Blast, and we have some past clients that are on it, and we're gonna do it again on Monday. And it's an extreme diet plan. We're cutting out carbs for 6 to 12 weeks. The only carbs you're gonna get is through vegetables and fruit, but you're gonna see a dramatic poof. The fat's gonna melt off. It's not for you if you just started though. I wouldn't do this if you just started. Get the routine, the habit of working out first. If you just started working out and you try this, it's gonna crash. It's not gonna be good for your body. Your body needs to know that, hey, this workout is what we do, and then we can add that. But if you feel like, hey, I'm ready, Joaquin, don't tell me what to do. You're not the boss of me. By all means, come and try it. It's okay. It's worth a try. Everything's worth a try. Try it. Try this diet. Try that diet. Try this. And that way you'll know if it's for you or not, right? So it's this Fat Blast program that I'm talking about. It is keto, except you reverse the top two nutrients, which are what? Protein and fats. Right? Keto is high fat, lower protein, and no carbs. We're doing Atkins. We're switching the top two. So it's high protein, which is what we want because we're working out, right? And we want more muscle. High protein, lower fat, and then no carbs, no starchy carbs. Only through fruit and vegetables. It's extreme, but you could do it, and it's fun. And then it's not something you don't do this forever. And this is where the trick happens. So, some people will see amazing results. You saw amazing results doing it, right? Sarah Sylvia. Who else did it? Maria, you kind of doing it now too, right? On and off. Yeah, you can see some amazing results. And what happens is you get addicted to that, and you think you can do that for life, and you can't. You want to do it if you're planning a trip in 12 weeks. Do this, and you'll see a big difference. But then you got to get back on that allotment right there, that number. That's what you should be on your life. That's life. That's sustainable. This fat blast is not sustainable. It's just a quick, like, let's get some body fat. Let's look good for the summer and the spring, and that's what it's for. But that's lifestyle, and that's what we want to teach you here. And if you get better at this nutrition thing, you can go back and forth on it and be safe. And we're here to guide you through that. Don't be scared anymore. We got you.
I have a question. So let's say you do. Thank you. So my question is, if you do what you were just talking about, where you lose the weight for the summer, whatever, and then you go back to your regular, routine, will you gain all that weight back or?
Not right away.
Okay.
You'll gain a little bit back, but it could be in the form of muscle. Because now that
Okay.
you're eating more nutrients, your muscles are gonna grow.
Okay.
Right? So in this fat blast, you don't lose muscle if you do it the right way. And I have a whole report on it. I made a report. You won't lose muscle. You'll gain muscle, but very little.
Okay.
Whereas if you ate regularly with the carbs and everything, you'll gain more muscle. But this is the way to get the body fat off real quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you say you do it, but then you go back to your current way of eating, which is like junk and late night and bad food, you will put it on.
Okay.
And maybe like another 12 weeks. Right? But if you do this fat blast and then do that,
Yeah.
you're gonna be safe.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna be really safe.
Okay.
You're not gonna put it on so quick. But that takes discipline too.
Yeah.
It all takes discipline, and you guys are doing the majority of the discipline by coming in here 2 to 4 times a week. It's beautiful to see that. When I see you guys in here, I walk through and And I know I bug you when I pass by, but I love to see that. It's so motivating, and that's really the hardest part. I know the nutrition is hard too. They're both hard. Show of hands, which is harder? Is workout hard? Working outing? They wanted to hold me back in second grade. My parents pushed through. Thank
Because
God.
when you work out, someone's telling you what to do. Yeah. When you go home, it's all on you.
Yeah.
And you got to shop for it and you have to prep it. And then you have to cook it.
Yeah. That's the
And
hardest.
then you have to do it over and over. So it's
Yeah.
definitely harder nutrition,
Yes.
It
especially
is.
protein.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Yeah, that is true.
Okay, so here's how we can help probably. We can dial that number in for you guys individually today. We're about to eat right now. Listen, while we're eating, let me know if you guys want help on this, and we can do the equation for you right now. And then if I mean, we can't be there with you, right? Obviously, but if you have that number and you plug it into MyFitnessPal, that's probably the best way to do it. Use an app, or you can write it down on paper the old-fashioned way. That's okay too. But the app is really good. It's really good nowadays because you can put in the food. It's gonna spit out the nutrition facts, and you're gonna be safe. And in that way we can guide you that way too, and we can check your food log weekly, and help you that way. And if you want to do meal preps, Jason's the guy. So he's gonna come around. Andrew, can you run back there and grab the forks and the cups and the napkins? You'll do that too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. Oh, the challenge, the 40 strong. Yeah, that's a great challenge. Does anybody have any questions about 40 strong? 40 strong is a playoff 75 hard. Has anybody heard of 75 hard? Okay, great. So you guys don't know about that. Perfect. So 40 strong is not for people over 40. It's for 40 days. We're all 40s here, anyways. It's a 6-week program. Who asked that question? Oh, it's a 6-week. Oh, you're doing it, right? Yeah. So let's get ready for it. I'll wait till he finishes. Yeah. Do you have your books?
Yeah, I got.
You got yours?
Is it in that?
Yeah. So let me bring them.
It's black coffee.